What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Can I please have the first two cards in our five-card spread for today? First two cards we are starting our day off with today are our Six of Swords in its reversal, in combination with our Queen of Wands in its reversal. So let's talk a little bit about what we're identifying or working through right now, specifically and particularly in relationality to working through the energy that we're currently experiencing. One of the things that's really important to recognize with this type of energy is, and I want to just describe this. This Aquarius season can bring out a lot of emotions right now. We've got a lot of important planets that are also moving through Aquarius. We've got Pluto in Aquarius, and I want to describe Pluto in Aquarius is a conversation in relationality to what we do utilize or what we effectively bring forth in relationality to our fear, right? There's the fear that feels like it's healthy, and then there's the fear that we're effectively moving away from. And those modalities of being able to effectively work through our fear, right? In a way that allows us to be energetically stabilizing through it. This is often what we articulate in terms of doing our shadow work, because what happens, right? What happens when we're not in the space of being able to effectively confront our fear? When we don't confront our fear, we're energetically steered by it. And why do we talk about the fact that when you don't confront your fear, you're steered by it? Because, right, what happens when you have a lot of fear and you're working through something and you're avoiding it, right? When you energetically avoid it, right? You turn away from it and then you're effectively driven forth or steered by the fear. So, this is why we talk about the importance of not working into avoidance when it comes to the things that we're effectively energetically afraid of, but being able to face them allows us to be able to resolve or to clarify upon them. And so we've got a lot of this energy that we see is effectively facilitating or working through those modalities or experiences. And it's not easy, right? It could be feeling like a lot of those experiences by which we feel energetically frustrated. But even in the modality by which we articulate our frustration, we're able to effectively allow for the space by which we're able to effectively identify or recognize how we're trying to do something in a better way. Now, this is really important given the fact that we recognize that there's a new energetic relationship cycle that's been opening up. And that was effectively starting since the time that we navigated that Capricorn new moon energy. These are effectively the world relationships. And why are we identifying them as world relationships? Because they are channeling the messages of the world card in relationality to working through those experiences. It's a conversation that articulates upon the sense of a healthy manifestation is not necessarily the space by which we work upon looking for something, but that we build into the context of being able to energetically embody it. So, what happens when we're working upon embodying it? When we embody what we're working through, it allows the context of being able to do something in an even greater capacity. And so for a lot of the energy or a lot of the individuals that are working through this right now, I keep on getting that this is a lot of the space by which the energy is effectively identifying and working through the context of their own ability to identify and articulate where the work is energetically needed. And it's beautiful too, because it's a conversation upon, and it's like it's a continuation of the last two relationship cycles that we saw that were effectively the moon relationships and as well as the temperance partnerships, because it's the identification point of being able to effectively identify and know one's vulnerability that becomes the point of strength, right? This is why it's so important to be able to identify and understand the self to such a high capacity. Now, for a lot of those relationships, I feel like I feel like that it's not an easy time right now. This energy is rough, right? It's not, and here's the thing about it, and this is what I like about, like, this is what we want to recognize, that that feeling of roughness is what allows the ability of being able to apply energy in a way that feels like it's important. And so I keep on getting like that is a lot of the work that I see that either I've got two different modalities right now working through that capacity. This is either energy that is identifying or articulating upon their own feeling of frustration, right? And they're allowing the frustration to enforce the application of what it is that they're trying to do in a better way, right? The frustration that allows for the application of effort, while at the same time, we recognize and identify that these could be new relationships that are coming together. And in the space by which they're coming together, right? I keep on getting it's like it's feeling it's sharing that mutuality of frustration, right? Like I keep on hearing these these are like I keep on getting these relationships. I just keep on hearing like, let's just get the hard part out of the way, right? Like there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that. There like this is what I meant like, this is what I meant about those world relationships. They feel like very brave connections. And the reason I keep on getting they feel like they're brave connections is because they're starting in the space that they would have energetically avoided in the past, is what I keep on seeing, right? There's a lot of that there's a lot of that, like, I feel like there's a lot of that energy there that is identifying. I keep on hearing the same message, right? When we know ourselves, our preferences act as shield for what is not in alignment to us, is all I keep on hearing. Now this brings us to the center card for today's spread, and we got here the Star card in its upright. And so what are we seeing right now with this Star card in its upright? The Star card in its upright, this is going to bring us to those moon relationships. And remembering the moon relationships were coming together between the time of the Capricorn new moon that we just experienced up until the time of Uranus stationing direct over the fall that we had, and I believe that was in September. And so these relationships right now, it's interesting because and I want to describe this. Um, a lot of these relationships have been coming together very I wanted to define this as very, very slowly. And why do we see that there's this slowness there? Because these are the relationships that were effectively coming together during that entire retrograde season that we just experienced, right? And a lot of that work that we're identifying there, you know, it's giving me a little bit of this like it's giving me a little bit of this like thank you for your patience kind of energy, right? The ability to effectively amplify or articulate or to do something in a way that one has not done it before is all I keep on seeing. And what's beautiful about that, and I just keep on identifying this, like particularly with that star energy, is the ability by which they effectively work to make things energetically easier for one another is all I keep on seeing. There's this easement point there. And a lot of that easement that we're energetically seeing is an amplification or articulation on the energetic piece that they find within the partnership, right? There's a lot of that. I just keep on getting there's a lot of that work that we see that is occurring. And even in the space by which they work through it, there's something about the conversation or something about the modality by which they walk through that energetic smoothness point that allows the ability of being able to articulate and identify how precious the relationship is to one another. Now, continuing to get clarification, the fourth and fifth cards of our 5 card spread, and this is going to be moving us into those temperance relationships, and the temperance relationships were effectively coming together between the time of Uranus stationing direct this fall up until the solstice period this summer. Two cards to clarify. We've got the Strength card in its reversal in combination with the Eight of Swords in its upright. And what are we effectively identifying in a lot of those circumstances and situations right now? You know, I want to define, one of the things that we're seeing here has to do with working into, and I want to describe this because, and this is just to show you, this Strength card is actually not a part of this deck. This is one of my older, this is a card that actually fell into the deck from one of my older decks because I can see this here. And that's what we like the thing about the Strength card in its reversal is there's something very important that we identify, particularly as it relates to working through or stepping outside of our comfort zone. And why do we identify that experience of stepping outside of our comfort zone? Because it's the observation or the understanding of being able to effectively like the only way to get stronger, right? And this is what we talk about. The only way to get stronger is to do something, right? Is to do something that you don't feel strong doing, right? Like that's the only way you get stronger is by doing things that you don't feel strong doing, right? And so I feel like there's a lot of that energetic effort that we're identifying there. And a lot of that work that we're potentially seeing is I keep on getting the energy that's getting better at stepping outside of their comfort zone. And I feel like that is what like I in a way, I feel like that's what's so beautiful about those relationships is, I keep wondering every day doing something. I keep wondering hearing every day doing something that feels a little uncomfortable is how you get stronger at is how you get is how you find confidence in doing something. And so there's a lot of that energy that I see that's working through that, but even in the modality by which they're working through it, they're supporting each other. Right? They're supporting each other as they work through that uncomfortability point. Continuing to get clarification between our Six of Swords in its reversal in combination with the Queen of Wands in its reversal. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Clarification coming through right now with the World card in its reversal. And what do we effectively see with the World card in its reversal? And this is bringing us back to those world relationships, right? It's It's not it's I feel like I need to articulate that there's something important about that, there's something important that the energy is effectively working through, and I keep on seeing, the World card in its reversal speaks to us about the energetic frustration that one finds outside of the self, right? And this is what we talk about. And I like this for these world relationships, right? Because it's a conversation, I keep on seeing, it's a conversation on um it's a conversation on entitled. I keep on hearing it's a conversation on entitled view, which is I keep on getting the space by which one understands that when we are in the when we're in the context of trying to address something, we face it. We face it directly is all I keep on hearing. And that's why, and this is bringing us back into those energies that are working in solitude right now, because this is the energy. I can almost hear the energy saying, I'm getting better at facing things that I would have energetically avoided, right? I feel like there's a lot of that energy there. I keep wondering, a lot of that energy that is kind of working through those circumstances or situations. But even in the space by which they do so, I feel like there's some kind of feeling, there's a deep kind of healing there, is what I keep on hearing. And I like it because, and I wanna point this out, um, I feel like it's a conversation that comes through too on the significance of a true spiritual journey, right? Because I keep wondering, a true spiritual journey is not working through something and in a space like in like I keep on hearing like the sensitivity. I keep wondering like I feel like I keep on getting this like sensitivity point of someone being like, "Oh, like my spiritual journey won't let me look at that." Or my spiritual journey won't let me see that. Right? Like the sign of an unhealthy spiritual journey is a spiritual journey by which we have to avert, like, we have to avert our gaze to stay on it, is what I keep on hearing, because that's not a true spiritual journey. That is an entitled like, that's an entitled sense. I keep hearing it's an entitled sense of energetic perspective is what I keep on getting. So there's a lot of that energy that I'm seeing is working through that, and I keep wondering, a lot of the work that we effectively navigate or articulate upon feels like I keep wondering, it feels like the expressive expansion in terms of building into healthy conversation. And I keep on getting like I feel like that's a lot of the energy. And I love this for a lot of that energy that's in solitude, because I keep on hearing like a healthy spiritual journey is one that that we embody. It's one that we articulate. It's one that we build into. And even in the context by which we do so, it allows for the modality of being able to understand and expound upon something even further, is what I keep on seeing. And there's something, but I want to describe this though, and this is what I mean about some of the difficulty of this energy right now. Um, you know, Pluto, Pluto, Pluto in Aquarius can often feel like the expression point in working into the context of our own sense of understanding. And I think that one of the things that I see there that's really important is and I want to describe this like I want to kind of like talk about it because we need to talk about it. Like this type of energy, like doubts and fears can feel like they pop up on you, right? It's like almost like it's like they creep out of nowhere, but when we're in the space by which we feel healthy and grounded, like it doesn't, like it doesn't energetically affect the self. It's just like the space by which one is able to be energetically present through it is what I keep on seeing. Um, Now moving back towards the energy that's moving deeper into connection. And this is bringing us into those moon relationships. Clarification between the Queen of Wands in its reversal in combination with the Star card. Oh, wow. Yeah, we've got this, here's the thing about it. We've got this 9 of swords in its reversal here. And the thing I like about the thing I like about a 9 of swords in its reversal in combination with the World card in its reversal is, and I want to describe this. Um and this is what we talk about in relationality to a healthy manifestation is a healthy manifestation is one that is not, I keep remembering, a healthy manifestation is not a latent space, right? It's not the space by which one just kind of stands around and says, "Where is it?" It's the space by which one walks towards it. And I feel like there's something really beautiful for some of those moon relationships because um, in the modality and the capacity by which they build together, um, I keep on hearing, you know, there's something. there's something really profound there, specifically and particularly in relationality to the energy that works through things, but I keep on hearing they work through things in a way, not not effectively identifying or seeking, like, energetic credit for things, but in the modality by which one is able to navigate through something in such a way that I keep on hearing, it's like I almost hear the energy saying that like, I wouldn't have it and, like, I keep on hearing, "I wouldn't have it any other way." And why do I keep on hearing, "I wouldn't have it any other way?" Because, like, that's what we talk about with the force of our intention, right? We let go, like and this is what's beautiful about a healthy manifestation goal. A healthy manifestation goal changes you in the context of moving towards it, right? It's the observation and the understanding of the transformation that we experience as we build into a healthy manifestation goal. And I feel like there's something really powerful that we see that's happening with a lot of those moon relationships because it's often I feel like it's the space by which they identify and recognize um, like, it's almost them I feel like there's a lot of that energy talking about the fact that the relationship itself has profoundly changed them, and in the context by which they're articulating upon the fact that the relationship has profoundly changed them, it's building into like, something about building into their own sense of energetic patience, right? And there's something really profound and important there that we keep on seeing, and again, it's hard particularly with this world card in its reversal and the 10 of the 10 of swords in its reversal. I don't know, I think I said 9 before, but it's 10. But that's what I mean about it too. And I always like to point this out, like, I find there's something really interesting, and we're gonna talk about it. Like, we're gonna talk a little bit about it when we finally get into the study of the tarot. But, um, you know, there's something really interesting that we notate with the 10 of swords in relationality to the 4 I keep wondering, the foreshortened sword, right? Like, out of all the swords that we see, there's one that is smaller, but I keep on getting that it's almost like it's working into like, it's working into the expression or the identification point, and I wanna describe this. This is what we mean by, like, the fact that we understand that there's no wasted effort, right? That no effort is energetically wasted because the modality by which, like and I like to point this out, like, the shortened sword here, right, can often create the space by which another person articulates and says, like, "Well, like, what I feel like this is what I mean with some of that moon energy, which is the energy that often says, like, the space by which they get frustrated at another that says, like, "I can't change something," and being like, "Everybody can change everything," because the unified force of intention is what allows something to move in the direction that it needs to move, is what I keep on hearing. Continuing to get clarification between the star card in its upright in combination with that strength card in its reversal. Can I get one card to clarify, please? And this is going to be moving us back into the temperance relationships. Woo, we've got a 10. We've got a 10 of wands in its upright. And, I want to point this out. Like, the thing we see, the 10 of swords in its reversal with the 10 of wands in its upright. Um, speaks to us about it speaks to us about uh what feels what feels energetically like I want to describe it, it's like working into the context of what it is that we're trying to change versus what it is that we're trying to get better at is what I keep on hearing, right? And there's something really important that we see with a lot of those temperance relationships because you'll remember that for a lot of those temperance relationships, you know, I feel like the thing I'm seeing is it feels like it feels like the energy that recognizes or appreciates, um, and like the energetic endeavor, but I keep on hearing the endeavor in terms of being able to recognize our own, like, I keep on hearing our own capacity to effectively articulate upon something and to, like, feel that force of energetic intention. And so for a lot of the energy effectively facilitating or working through those experiences right now, I just keep on seeing, and I like this because, um this is saying, like, these temperance relationships, and I just wanna describe this, like, and I don't know where I'm not sure where this is coming from. There's nothing that you could say to them about one another that they don't already know, is what I keep on getting. Like, that's almost like that's what's so why like, that's what I keep on getting with these temperance relationships, right? Like, I keep on hearing the energy almost saying, like, there's like, they are deeply invested in understanding each other. And in the modality of doing that, I keep on hearing, like, it's like the energy that almost says to one another, there's nothing, like, there's nothing within you that I like that one does not feel the energy to be able to carry forth, is what I keep on getting. And I think that that's really beautiful when I'm identifying that there, because it feels like, and this is what I keep on getting, like, there's no avoidance. Like, there's no avoidance in those temperance relationships, you know? And if anything, the hard part about it is I feel like they're working to heal experiences by which another person, like, I keep on hearing they're working to heal from trauma that they had to create based upon other navigating others' energetic aversions, is all I keep on hearing. There's something about that almost feels like a sense of continuation, but that's why I feel like, in a way, like, that's what's allowing for some kind of breakthrough to occur there, because I feel like for a lot of those relationships, like, it's almost like I feel like it's like them seeing, like, it's them identifying or recognizing, like, what it is that they're trying to change, and not just what it is they're trying to change, like, how they're effectively trying to do it better. Now continuing and moving back towards those, world relationships, clarification between our strength card in its reversal in combination with our 8 of swords in its upright. A lot of swords out today, but listen, I'm not surprised to see a lot of swords right now given the energy that we're experiencing. Wow, we've got the Empress out as well. So, we've got the Empress right now and the Star card. And the thing we see in terms of that energy is it's working into, I keep on getting this. It's working into the space by which we ourselves are able to effectively articulate upon how we energetically feel. And this is what I mean, like, this is this is a lot of the energy. Like, this is a continuation of what we saw is happening right now for some of that energy in solitude. And I keep on getting, right, centered, like, the difference between being centered in self and self-centered. And why do we keep on hearing the difference between being centered in self versus self-centered, right? And the best way I can describe this is self-centered is the modality by which you look at everything like arriving to the self, right? The space by which everything feels, right? The space by which everything feels like it's there to effectively come towards. But being centered in self is having a profound understanding of who one is and who one is not, right? And that's why it becomes like so empowering because it's a modality by which another person tries to say, "Oh, you're not this or not that," and you being like, "I know." I know. It's like it's the observation, like, this is the energy that says, "I don't need to be perfect to be in relationship. I just need to know what my strengths are, and I need to know what my weaknesses are," right? Because that is the gift, and this is what's beautiful about that, right? That knowing, that higher knowing, that's why we call it higher knowing. When we know what our strengths are, and we know what our weaknesses are, then we're not susceptible, right? We're not susceptible to be taken advantage of by those that try to articulate that they know us better than we ourselves know ourselves, right? Often, often the shape of trauma is the modality by which another person energetically articulates upon the understanding of the self that does not energetically conform to our own personal understanding. And this is why I feel like there's a lot of that energy that is in solitude right now, and they're effectively working on understanding the self because it's the understanding of the self that acts as healthy shield when one is building into relationship to be able to recognize, right? To be able to recognize what is for the self, right? Like what feels like it's energetically in alignment to the self versus what another person, like I keep on hearing like versus another person trying to work something through on us is what I keep on hearing. And I feel like there's something really important about that because it's a lot of that and I need to describe this like this is often why we talk about like when you're on a spiritual journey like prepare for it to get weird because it's like it's almost like it's the modality by which like I feel like a lot of this energy is healing like the most toxic thing is passive aggressive tendency because passive aggressive tendency is the ability to not want to articulate how one feels but is trying to project it out onto another person. And this is why I keep on getting that a lot of that energy it's like when they navigate like when you know yourself and you navigate another person's passive aggressiveness, right? You just kind of like you just observe it is what I keep on seeing, right? And I keep on hearing, like, that's what I keep on hearing some energy. I don't keep on hearing some energy. I feel like I keep on hearing some energy and separate like, in solitude saying, like, your passive aggressiveness doesn't have power over the self because it's the understanding of the it's like the energy that recognizes or understands the force of their own intention that allows the modality by which something is able to be energetically profound or something is able to change in a way that it hasn't changed before, right? And so I feel like there's a lot of that. I feel like there's a lot of that energy there. But at the same time, these relationships that are effectively coming together at this time, I feel like it's a continuation. It's a continuation of right. It's a continuation of that conversation. And there's something I keep on hearing. There's something really there's something really profound about that is what I keep on seeing, right? Like there's like, it's saying to me, like, there's a lot of that energy that's just working through something in the capacity by which they're getting better at defining or building into the sense of, like, trusting themselves and their own energetic feeling of, like, stability. Now continuing to get clarification we're moving back into those moon relationships. Clarification between the world card in its reversal in combination with the 10 of swords in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. We've got the king of swords in its reversal. And so what are we seeing with the king of swords in its reversal? Um, the king of swords in its reversal is I want to describe like this is what I mean like this is we're going to keep on having to talk about this right now because and it's going to come up. Okay? It's going to come up. We've got a bunch of planets in Aquarius, but we've also got Pluto in Aquarius, right? And Pluto in Aquarius with all of the planets. that we've got in Aquarius right now is navigating the force of dread. Okay? It's working and here's the thing about it, right? Like, when we feel when we feel a lot of that sense of dread, right? It can sometimes, it can create the space by which we sometimes get, too much in our headspace about things. But that's why, again, navigating navigating dread or working through the context of dread and just applying I keep on hearing applying effort, right? Dread is where you should apply effort, right? Because it's the modality by which one is able to effectively articulate or amplify or do something in a better way, right? It's the continuation of the work that allows the context of being able to effectively articulate or expand or expound upon something. And so everything I keep on seeing there, um, I feel like this is what I mean about those moon relationships is they don't like they don't feel, they don't create those modalities or those experiences. I just keep on hearing it's like they don't work into the context of feeling the uncertainty, right? It's like it's a lot of the energy that works towards they work towards the capacity of feeling energetically stable. And even in the space by which they work through stability, I keep on getting it's the stability that we arrive to that allows us to build into our sense of, I keep on hearing, the energetic stability that we have facing dread that allows for the sense of working through something in terms of what it is that we ourselves are energetically comfortable with versus what it is that we're not. And I like this for some of this moon relationship energy because it almost feels like I need to point out, I just want to show you guys these cards, right? It's the Queen of Wands with the King of Swords in its reversal that can often feel I feel like it can often feel like the modality or the experience by which we put our energetic foot down upon things, right? It's like a lot of that I keep on getting it's a lot of that force of intention that almost that allows for the modality of articulating upon exactly how we feel about something, but not just how we feel about it, why it holds so much import or meaning to us. Continuing to get clarification between and this is moving us back into those temperance relationships. Clarification between the 10 of swords in its reversal in combination with the 10 of wands in its upright. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Clarification coming through right now with our 3 of cups in its upright. And the 3 of cups, what do we see with that 3 of cups energy? The the 3 of cups energy is the 3 of cups energy with the star card is often working through or recognizing the energy, it's working through the power of energetic expansion. And here's the thing about I feel like there's something really significant and important that we see that's happening with a lot of those temperance relationships. And I feel like to a certain extent, it's the energy that is learning. I don't know why I keep on hearing it. It's the energy that is slowly learning how to trust again. And why am I keep on getting a lot of that energy going? The energy that's slowly learning how to trust again. Because I just keep on seeing that these relationships we're working through, I feel like these relationships we're working through um a lot a lot of those experiences by which they felt I feel like it's almost like the energy that was working through the weight of feeling I keep on hearing the words taken advantage of. And what do we identify with the space of I keep on hearing and I want to describe this the trauma that I see some of these temperance relationships are carrying is I keep on hearing like working towards doing the right, like doing what feels energetically right often feels like a thankless effort, right? It's the modality by which we work through something, but even in the space by which we work through it, I feel like this is a lot of energy that often feels that sense of not I keep hearing not doing something because, like, it's a continuation of understanding a manifestation goal, right? You don't do things because of the goal of the manifestation goal. You do something because no effort is lost in the journey of moving towards something is what I keep on hearing. And I feel like that's what I keep on getting with a lot of those temperance relationships. It's it's a conversation upon their own energetic feeling of expansion. And I feel like a lot of this space by which they articulate upon their expansion is an exploration in terms of how far they have effectively come from something or how far they have energetically grown. And I think that a lot of that, like, especially with this, like, especially with the 3, like, sitting between these 2 tens, right? It's almost saying to me, like, this is a lot of the energy that, like, doesn't 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 look in like, doesn't work towards what feel like it's the energy that just pays attention, is the best way I can describe it. And what do I mean by the space of saying paying attention? It's the energy that, like, built into that sense of appreciation, but not just the appreciation, the valuation of feeling energetically proud about something is what I keep on hearing. And we're gonna have more of this, like, we're gonna have more of this come up as we move closer and closer to that, like, Leo full moon energy, right? Because what we effectively identify or articulate in relationality to, like, facilitating upon our own work upon something is the energetic exploration of being able to navigate something, but not just navigate something, to be able to articulate upon our own I keep hearing, like, able to articulate upon, like, I almost feel like the energy that's, like, works through the frustration in terms of giving forth something and almost wishing that one could give even more is all I keep on hearing. Like, that's what I mean in terms of the manifestation goal, right? Like, there's a lot of that expansion point that I feel like is energetically supportive in terms of their own communication in relationality to how they feel about things, right? And this is, like I told you, like, this type of energy, right? They're often too hard on themselves, right? They often get are you wondering, they often get very hard on themselves in the space by like, looking at something and feeling that frustration. Continuing to get clarification between our 10 of Wands in combination with the Empress card. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Yeah, we've got the 8 of Cups in its reversal. And what are we effectively seeing? What are we effectively seeing with that 8 of Cups in its reversal? The 8 of Cups in its reversal, and this is bringing us back into, like, this is bringing us back into a lot of that energy that we were identifying that was working, like, that's working in solitude right now. The 8 of Cups in its reversal is often speaking to us in terms of working through and trying to identify what feels like it's energetically missing, right? We were talking a lot about this the last time we were doing a collective read, but the modality of, right, this is what I meant about these being world relationships, which is when we feel like something is energetically missing, then we answer the call, right? It's like the observation of working through, right? Working through the modality of building into a manifestation goal. But I keep on hearing, like, I feel like there's a lot of that energy that is, like, identifying or recognizing what feels like it could be better, right? And so this is the energy that's almost like I feel like they're fine-tuning things, or this is what I feel like that's like a lot of that continuation, because I keep on hearing that in the context, right? In the context of the healthy relationship, it's the energy that articulates and says that we should feel that point of joy as it relates to moving towards things, right? Like we don't find joy on the other side of our manifestation goals. We bring joy with us to the manifestation goal, right? Like, and so this is why I keep on hearing a lot of that energy saying joy on the journey. And why do we hear joy on the journey? Because joy on the journey articulates to us that a healthy manifestation goal is not just articulating upon the joy that one will find when one is able to reach it, right? Because I'll just point this out. Like I keep on hearing this energy articulate this. If you're miserable, if you're absolutely miserable every step of the way towards a manifestation, then working like that's the same person that you're gonna find when you get there, right? It's not it doesn't manifestation goals don't change who we are, right? And this is often like not recognizing this is often what we see when somebody has too much energetic ambition, right? Like the modality of feeling that's saying like, "Oh, when I reach that point, I'll be happy," right? You won't, because the happiness is something that we energetically bring with us as we move towards the things that are for us, right? Now continuing, and I feel like that's a lot of the energy that's working on, like, I keep on hearing that energy, like, in solitude, articulating upon being heavily invested in finding their energetic joy, because something in relationality to that work is effectively identifying and articulating upon the shape or the intention by which they're trying to build into a healthy present. Now, moving us deeper into these cards right now and continuing into those moon relationships, clarification between the King of Swords and its reversal and that Three of Cups and its upright. One card to clarify, please. We've got here the Two of Wands in its upright. And so I feel like for a lot of the moon relationships right now, there's something that we're seeing in relationality to healthy communication or the ability of effectively articulating from a point of, I keep wondering, articulating from a point of being able to, like, I feel like there's a lot of this energy that's finally having an opportunity to build forth in relationality to plans or what the shape of those plans are. And so much of that energy that I'm seeing there, it's like it's interesting because like it's like whenever every time I read into these moon relationships, I keep on hearing like thank you for your patience because these were the relationships that were coming together during all of that retrograde energy. And I feel like they're finally starting to get to a place by which it's easier to make plans. And so I feel like that's a lot of the energy that's almost like reaching that energetic celebration point in terms of feeling like they've effectively like navigated through something, like they were navigating through something together that was triggering, but they're finding each other on the other side of it is what I keep on getting. While continuing between the Three of Cups in its upright in combination with that Eight of Cups in its reversal. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Clarification coming through right now with the Queen of Pentacles in its upright. And so the Queen of Pentacles in its upright, and I want to just kind of describe this here. Um, it feels like the best way I can describe what we're seeing is working through the observation of working through the observation of like, I keep on hearing, like, the force of energetic intention, right? And there's a lot of stabilization there, is what I keep on seeing. There's a lot of that work towards building into, like, a state of stabilization. And I feel like everything that we keep on seeing in relationality to that, is almost like it's almost speaking towards the energy that is basically able to articulate to one another, right? Like this is what I mean in terms of those temperance relationships. This is energy that is just getting better at communicating from the space of their needs. And it's beautiful too, because those temperance relationships, I feel like there's been like, I keep wondering, they're having breakthroughs in terms of articulating their needs that allow the context of the needs being met. And I feel like a lot of that work that we see that's happening there, it's like they had to navigate the space of healing from relationships of the past by which it felt that the ability to be themselves or to articulate upon those things was being experienced by, like, was working through the context of another, like, I keep hearing another person, like, perpetually misinterpreting them, right? Like, there's something really beautiful there as it relates to the energy being able to articulate in that space of stabilization and understanding and continual, like, I keep wondering, like continual energetic expansion. Final card for today's spread, between the Two of Wands in its upright and that Queen of Pentacles in its upright. We've got here the Ten of Cups in its upright, and the Ten of Cups in its upright is really beautiful to see. We've got 3, I gotta point this out, we've got 3 of the 4 10 cards on the table today. And 3 of the 4 10 cards talks to us about the ability, like, the ability of working through things, but working through things with a sense of energetic proportionality. And everything I keep on seeing, and again, if you're a tarot nerd, make sure that you go take a look at today's spread. I'll have it over on the stack, right? Like that 10 cup energy is working tirelessly in the direction of our own energetic, like, I keep on hearing the bliss that we try to find for ourselves, but also the bliss that we try to leave, like, in the space of everything that we effectively hold, is what I keep on hearing, right? Like, it's the modality by which we are able to articulate and amplify upon like, upon what it is that we're trying to do better. And I feel like, there's something important in relationality to that, because it speaks towards, right? It speaks towards the modality by which we're constantly building into that sense. I keep on hearing, like, not only the things that we're trying to arrive to for ourselves, but the bliss that we're effectively trying to create as we move through existence, right? And so that is, I feel like that is the work, and it's hard, right? We have to protect that. And the space by which we work to protect that is not, I keep on hearing, is not the space by which we energetically move towards what only feels like it's good for us, right? Because that's often the indulgence point. It's the work by which we effectively energetically facilitate, perpetually trying to keep things in an energetic bliss state. But it's a bliss state, I keep on hearing, it's the bliss state that navigates something in such a way that you have to work towards it, right? You have to build towards it. You have to put that effort into it, because often, like, there's something that I see there that almost speaks towards the energetic frustration as it relates to others, right? Others misperceiving what feels energetically peaceful, right? And this is why we keep on hearing, like, you know, like, I almost feel like there's that energy that I see as identifying, which is the articulation point of finding something. But I keep on hearing, it's not just the space by which we find something, but it's the space by which we try to leave something better than we found it, right? Or the modality by which we're constantly trying to articulate or convey something that we can do in a greater fashion, is all I keep on seeing. And I think like, that's what I keep on getting in relationality to a lot of this reading. It's like working into the space of being energetically protective in spaces or places by which we effectively facilitate and recognize the way that affects us in ways, like, the space by which nothing is lost, because it's the observation that working towards that is always working towards what feels like that is the force of good that we find within our relationships, but also in the work that we do in relationality to the world surrounding the self. Bottom of the deck on this reading, yeah, particularly with the Two of Swords in its reversal. The Two of Swords in its reversal. The Two of Swords in its reversal works us through, like, and I keep on getting it, it works us through the observation and the navigation of others' hard feelings. And here's the hard thing with hard feelings, right? Um, like we work to resolve hard feelings. We work to resolve hard feelings within, but we also work to resolve hard feelings without. Because the thing is, and this is what we talk about with hard feelings, because, you know, hard feelings, hard feelings harden us and they harden our heart, right? The modality by which we work through them is often the amplification of being able to identify and recognize how we're trying to do something in a better way. And so a lot of that, like I keep on getting that for a lot of this energy right now, working through, I keep wondering like the way that one is able to navigate working through a hard feeling is being able to identify and I keep wondering, like, working even harder in relationality to what is energetically like, what one is trying to effectively, like, work through, and I keep on getting this too, like, there's something about that Two of Swords in its reversal that can sometimes feel like it's like I keep on hearing situations or circumstances that often feel like they wear upon us in the modality of working through something, but not just in the space by which we work through it, but the way by which we try to effectively articulate or amplify from a point of our own energetic patience. So if you're experiencing this right now, like recognize that everybody, I keep hearing like recognize that everybody to a certain extent is experiencing it, right? When everybody is going through experiences by which there's a lot of this energetic heaviness, the best that we can do is be the force of energetic patience that we're hoping to arrive into, because it's the space by which we effectively absolve or resolve through things that allows for the point of being able to energetically, I keep on hearing, it's the space by which we're able to identify and recognize like how like the space that others are trying to do the best that they can with this energy as well. That is where we find that is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you so much for being here today and sharing in these readings. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can do so on my website. It is a two-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my site. So I would encourage you to do it there. Also, a couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, thank you to everybody who was a part of our recent class on the tarot. Our next class will be held on Thursday, February 19th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our study into the tarot with a focus on the sword suite of the court cards. If you'd like to become a part of that tarot class program, all you need to do is head on over to my stack and become a paid subscriber. Your paid subscription to my stack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. As a paid subscriber, as a paid monthly subscriber, you'll have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library class archive. Now, it's not necessary to catch up. I do my best to give you an update on everything we studied thus far prior to beginning the next class, but the material is there for you to receive as you're ready to study it. And if you become a founding member, not only will you receive it discount on the full year's worth of readings, but you'll also receive access to over 20 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library Class Archive, as well as the opportunity of receiving a complimentary mentorship class with me where I will meet with you personally to assess where you are on your personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage moving towards your tarot goals going forward. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or your robust experience prevent you from joining us in these classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my stack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I also post my weekly newsletter, my stick meditation articles there, which will let you know what we've been seeing energetically in article form. I just wrote one recently on that new moon that we just navigated. I would also encourage you to head over to my stack to learn more about a very special retreat that I'll be hosting this August. I'd like to invite you to join me August 8th through 13th as we will be traveling to Italy to study the cards in the location by which the cards were first documented to be discovered. Everybody who participates in that retreat will not only be receiving one-on-one tarot training by me, but will also be eligible in receiving a complimentary mentorship class. And if you sign up for that retreat before the conclusion of this month, you'll also be receiving a $200 discount on the full retreat package. You can find all of that over on my tree that has links in it in my bio, as well as my stack. I also want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my students seeking a more personalized educational experience from me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal spiritual goals and journey work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or biweekly, as your schedule permits. Also, for my students seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or biweekly, as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. And I'm also very happy to offer dream interpretation readings, which you can purchase per dream or as a series. If you purchase the series, I would encourage you to start to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or biweekly with that journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key themes and messages coming towards you in the dream space. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again tomorrow.